Hello, and a very warm welcome to this Top Employers Connect session titled Retaining Human in the Human Resource Era of Artificial Intelligence, or AI as we like to call it. I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to delegates from all over the world. Please let us know which country you are from in the chat. We'd love to get a sense of what the representation looks like today. We are coming to you live from Singapore and India. And today we're going to explore how 2023 regionally certified APAC top employer Sabic successfully introduced AI in their organization while still maintaining the human touch. We're also going to be discussing the emerging use of AI in HR, focusing specifically on talent development and employee engagement. Additionally, we'll cover the pros and cons of using AI, such as reducing bias and increasing efficiency while potentially compromising data privacy and, of course, the all-important human touch. And then finally, we'll highlight the importance of balancing AI and human expertise in HR operations to achieve the best possible outcomes. So allow me to introduce our main presenter for today's session, Ms. Preet Boparai. She is the head of human resources for all the entities at Sabic India, and she is responsible for developing, building, and leading HR operations by translating business needs into HR strategy to support Sabic's overall growth strategy. And Preet has over 18 years experience leading various facets of HR, from manufacturing to consulting. She's worked extensively on change management as well as mergers and acquisitions. And her big belief is innovation and development of oneself, and keeping the workplace space vibrant and motivated is critical to driving a sort of good organizational culture. And she also happens to be a certified coach and personality analysis practitioner. So based on Preet's very impressive resume, I think it's fair to say that we have the right person to present today's fascinating topic with us. A few final webinar logistics from my side to cover before we get started. You are more than welcome to send us your questions at any time in the comments section. In fact, we highly appreciate and encourage this to make it a far more interactive session. And we will be sending a recording of the session to all attending delegates when it becomes available. If at any point you do happen to need assistance with the technical aspects of the webinar, simply type it in the chat, and we do have moderators on standby to assist you with any technical difficulties that you may experience. So to get things started and to warm up the audience, I would like to ask a question to you all. And my question is, what is the first word that comes to mind when you think of AI's role in HR? And yes, this can sometimes be viewed as a rather controversial topic. So the word that you put in the chat section can either be positive or negative, as this is your opinion. And of course, you are more than welcome to your opinion. So we're interested to hear what the sentiment is amongst the audience when it comes to AI. So please share your thoughts with us in the comments section, and Preet and I will come back to this in just a moment because we're very keen to hear what you think. So just to set the scene from our perspective, for those of you who aren't too au fait with the Top Employers Institute, we are the global HR authority on certifying excellence in HR strategies and practices. And for over 33 years, our firm has been dedicated to creating a better world of work. We are a globally headquartered organization situated in the Netherlands, Amsterdam, and our APAC regional HQ is based out of Singapore. And our organization's unique selling proposition in the global employer of choice ecosystem is we are the only firm in the world that certifies organizations as top employers based on HR practices as opposed to opinion-based survey data. And through our survey and benchmarking data, we enable our clients around the world to assess and improve their employee experience against the global standard of HR best practice excellence. And recognition through our global HR program helps companies elevate their status as a credible employer of choice, supporting their talent attraction and retention objectives. We also happen to use one globally aligned certification methodology throughout the world. And we recognize top employers in single countries, in different regions, and even on a global scale. And in 2023, our firm certified over 2,053 top employers from 121 countries, covering every single region in the world. And the thing that we're most proud of is that collectively, our top employers are positively impacting the lives of over 9.5 million employees globally with their world-class HR environment. And this is a key metric that we use to measure how our certification program and our top employers are positively impacting the world of work. And these are the 321 organizations that we certified as top employers for 2023 from 22 different Asian Pacific countries. And one thing we're very proud of is the brand equity that you see on screen now. And these are all organizations who are renowned for having world-class talent management practices. And we are very happy that these organizations will be carrying our internationally recognized certification for the upcoming year. There are also 22 organizations that achieved our Blue Regional Top Employers Asia Pacific title for 2023. And these are organizations that have been certified in a minimum of 5 countries in APAC, and therefore they earn the right to carry not only their red country seal, but also the Blue Regional Certification seal that you see on screen now. And it's quite simply very important for these multinational companies to have a similar and consistent employer brand message to talent, hence the reason why they want their markets to carry the same type of HR certification. And obviously, I have circled the Sabic logo in green because they are one of our exclusive regional top employers, having achieved certification in 5 countries, namely India, China, Singapore, South Korea, and of course, Japan. So before we get to Preet, just to set the scene from our perspective and the data that we've come across, AI-based HR tools come in a wide range of forms, aiming to take on certain aspects of HR work, such as hiring, training, benefits, and even employee engagement. And companies use AI in people-related decisions for many reasons, including consistency to reduce bias, casting a broader net, and to improve the overall efficiency of decision making within a business. And data from our 2023 global program shows us that among the 2,053 companies that we certified from 121 countries globally, 89% of our top employers ensure their business leaders are committed to using HR data analytics for fact-based decision-making about the workforce. And this is an increase of 4% since 2021. And our second statistic is that 90% of top employers ensure that HR supports the business with people analytics, up from 4.5% compared to 2021. And looking outside of the Top Employers Institute, recent research published in the Harvard Business Review concluded that the secret of AI is human beings, people. Machines do repetitive and automated tasks and will always be more precise and faster. However, those uniquely human skills of creativity, care, intuition, adaptability, and innovation are increasingly imperative to any form of business success. And the authors concluded that competing in the age of AI is not about being technology driven per se, but rather it's about human talent and new organizational structures that use technology to bring out the best in the workforce and their people. And the secret to making this work is the business model itself, where machines and humans are integrated to complement each other and to work as one. However, of course, there is always a flip side. And in terms of research that was actually published by Harvard once again to just sort of demonstrate some form of consistency in their opinion, there is a gap between the promise and reality of artificial intelligence in HR due to 2 main challenges. The first one being accountability related to fairness and other ethical and legal constraints. And the second one, opposing employee reactions to management's decisions based on algorithms. And these concerns are coupled with recent data from the World Economic Forum showing that there are many concerns in adopting AI in the workplace. So earlier on, we asked you to share some comments in the section, around what is the first word that comes to mind when you think of the role of AI in HR. So, Preet, I'm going to ask. There you are. You are on camera, which is fantastic. So let's have a look at some of the words that the audience has shared with us. So we see save time, efficiency. AI is smart working, efficiency. It's a new tool, unbiased insights and efficiency, consistency, accuracy, and fast, error free, faster expert opinion. So they preach, based on the audience comments, there seems to be a rather positive perception to AI, which is a good start. I thought there would be a couple of negative words coming through there, but also demonstrates that we are working with an audience with a very good growth mindset. So, what is your takeaway on some of those words that have been shared?
Great. Thank you. First of all, thank you, Billy, for introducing me for this talk. But before we get into the topic, and I saw some of the comments that people have been sharing, which is actually, I would say, quite positive, and it is positive, right? AI has actually been helping us big time in our day-to-day life, whether it's professional or personal, right? So we cannot negate the fact that AI is everywhere in every part of our life these days. So I will be actually talking about a lot of these things which my audience have already typed off. We'll be talking about how it has made a difference in our lives, right? But we also need to be mindful of some of the aspects that you highlighted during your slides. Ensuring that the bias is taken care, or some of the other aspects where only the human intelligence can play a better role. But again, before I get into the topic, I would like to share a few slides to talk about Sabic, who we are, and our version. So if we can go to the next slide, please. So Sabic, for those who don't know, is a global leader in chemicals. From making cars and planes more fuel efficient, we also work on areas like sustainability, water conservation, etc. If you go to the next slide, please. These are a slide before, please. Yeah, this is Sabic at a glance. I'm not going to go through each of these, but some of the numbers that I want to draw your attention is that we have our operations in around 50 countries across the world. We are among the top two chemical brand values across the world. Our annual revenue is $46.6 billion US dollars, and we have 66 world-class plants worldwide. And our vision, which is on the next slide, our vision is to be the preferred world leader in chemicals, and we will achieve this by collaborating with our customers. We believe that when they grow, we grow. And why we are here today, why Billy has already shared that, but I would like to throw light on, where are we from a top employer brand perspective. So Sabic has been certified as top employer for over a decade in both China and Asia Pacific countries. And thanks to top employer also for giving me this opportunity today to share my views on this very interesting topic with all of you. So, retaining the human in human resources in the era of AI. This is a very interesting topic, as I have been repeating myself, and I'm sure each one of you have your own perspective for sure. Now, AI and human intelligence goes hand in hand, and only the right balance brings the best outcome. So, in the next 15-20 minutes, I will talk about few examples of how AI has proven to be a bliss, but on the other side, I will also share some examples where it has gone wrong. And then I will talk about how at Sabic we are using AI along with the human touch to get the best outcomes. And towards the end, I will share my perspective of why it is important to retain the human element in our journey as HR. So we stay on this slide only, where AI touches all domains of our work, right? So we have number of tools available in the market to explore, and we all take informed decisions basis what fits our need, our requirement. We pick the right tool to work for us. Some of the areas where AI has been success, let's say recruitment, many large organizations, I'm sure many of you on the call would also be using some of the AI powered recruitment tools. Now these tools uses natural language processing, starting from screening the candidate to providing personalized feedback on their video interviews, right? AI algorithm starts from analyzing even candidates facial expression, the tone of their voice, and other behavioral cues to assess their suitability for the job. Now, these tools also provides customized feedback to candidates. Things like, okay, here are the areas that you can improve on, or how you can better showcase your skills for future. This could have been a mammoth task if a recruiter had to do it, or I would say that we can still do it provided we hire a team doing only this task. With AI, it has helped us in time consuming tasks from whatever I have spoken, but let's say even drafting job descriptions or sending personalized message to the candidates. And it has given us that time for a better usage, maybe towards improving candidate experience, people connect, business partnering, or any other strategic decision which needs your attention. So it has given you a kitty where you can use that time much better than what it was in the past. Some of the other areas where AI has proven to be also successful, let's say payroll. Company uses them to automate payroll processing, starting from, let's say, analyzing employee data, calculating their salaries, taxes, other deductions, right? AI tool help us to even calculate payroll taxes, and it provides a real-time data on employee wages and benefit. So these were some of the benefits, but as I told you in the start, that on the other side there also have been instances where without human supervision AI has also gone wrong. And one of the cases was in recruitment, where a large company had to abandon the tool because it was biased against female candidates. Now, the tool had been trained on resumes submitted to a company over a period of 10 years, most of which came from male candidates. So, what happened as a result is that the tool learned to favor male candidates over female candidates. So, it was penalizing resumes that contained terms like women or female. Because of this incident, it actually led to a broader conversation about a role of AI in recruitment. And it also highlighted the fact that there is a definite need for human oversight and intervention to ensure that whatever algorithms we are building in are not giving us an outcome basis on bias or discrimination. And this was the point even Billy was highlighting in his slide, right? Sometimes AI can be biased, or it may show you results which are basis discrimination. It also served a reminder that while AI can be a powerful tool, but it can never substitute for human judgment and decision making. And if we go to the next slide, please, and I would say not only the real world, AI can also go wrong with superheroes if not supervised well. And many of you would have seen this movie, Age of Ultron. So there was this character created by Tony Stark, our Iron Man, and Bruce Banner. And the purpose of this character was, it was intended to be a global defense system, but over a period of time it gains capacity to experience feelings and sensation, and it turns against humanity. So it was seeking to destroy all human lives on earth. But then how could Iron Man let it happen, isn't it? The superhero had to destroy it for Avengers to continue. So this is again, AI is wonderful, but it always needs that human intelligence or human touch for it to be successful, for us to be successful in whatever we are driving. Moving forward, I would like to talk about that how at Sabic we are working in tandem with AI. There have been multiple solutions we have created by the data which was provided by the artificial intelligence tools that we are using. But we at Sabic never forget to top it up with human touch. There have been tools we have been using for a long time, but from an HR perspective, during COVID, we realized that employee engagement one of the biggest challenge areas for us. So we were exploring new ways of not losing touch with employees, and then we came across a solution called Amber. Now, what Amber did is it helped us to identify disengaged employees or employees who could be a high attrition risk. And it's been 2 years since we are using this tool, and I'm happy to share that we have been proactively able to retain those who were at the fence. But Before we introduced this tool, and especially in the employee engagement segment, which is very sensitive, it was very important for us. It was very important for us to inform the employees that what it can do and what HR team will do. So we multiple times educated our employees, stating that this is not replacing the HR team, but it is just an enabler. We also highlighted the fact that if they are talking to AI, which is Amber in this case, the conversation will be confidential between HR and employee. And unless agreed upon, it will not be shared with any line manager at all. Because not everybody is comfortable talking to somebody who's not human, right? So the way Amber works for Sabic is that it converses with employees as and when they complete a milestone, let's say 1 year, 2 years, so on. And basis that conversation, it highlights if there's any risk, and the trigger goes to the respective HR manager or the HR member, and then we top it up with a personal conversation. Mind you, sometimes it also goes wrong, right? Meaning during the conversation, when we have the human conversation, we realize that while Amber had highlighted a high attrition risk, we realize that the employee is upset about something, but not so much that he or she will leave the company. So AI also learns from us, right? Whether it's through machine learning, and we input the data back to the tool saying, Amber, you were not predicting this rightly. You were not correct in predicting this. So it is learning from our human intelligence so that it is able to predict accurate data for future. AI in this case has helped us to prioritize our conversation with employees and take proactive actions. Another example that I want to share with you is that during COVID times, when our focus was on health and well being, through our various digital tools, we gathered certain pulse and feedback. Amber was one of them, by the way. We learned that there was a lot of fear among employees regarding their health plans, life cover plans, and we at Sabic were getting that data continuously, and we had to take some informed actions. So while we took some quick actions, but we also thought about a long term action. So what we did is we launched an initiative for India, which is called Sabic. It is a flexible health benefit plan for our employees where they can pick and choose health benefits or accident or life cover plans for themselves and their family. So they can pick and choose whatever works for them. We also tried our hands in AI in the L&D space. Many of you might have heard about Percipio. So we launched Percipio. But what we did differently with Percipio is that while it offered a range of courses and content for our employees to upskill and reskill themselves, we mapped or linked the courses to our competency framework, our Sabic values. We call it the Sabic leadership way. And we also kind of tag those things to our various functions that we operate in. Now, Percipio as a platform uses AI to personalize learning experience for individuals, and it improves the efficiency and effectiveness of the learning process. So it gathers data about learner behavior, performance, and then it also recommend the relevant courses for the learner based on their interest, goals, skill levels, etc. So we do this and much more, but keeping the time in mind, I would love to share more examples, but this is for now. But I also want to repeat myself that we never forget to involve the human intelligence, especially when it comes to HR. So while the AI tool provide us baseline information, the solutions that you have heard that we created were well thought through to cater to the entire organization. It was the human intelligence which debated about what will work and what will not work and the whys of that. So we have discussed pros and cons. I've also shared examples of how we are using AI in Sabic. And I keep repeating myself on how it has to be a healthy marriage between AI and HR. So why is it important? So if we go to the next slide, uh, there have been multiple studies which has been conducted across the globe asking employees from various companies that how do you feel about your HR department. While there were good responses, but there were some upsetting responses as well. Please go to the next slide, please. So if there were questions asked, do you know who your HR is, and the responses was, I don't know who's my HR, never seen or spoken to this individual. Or the responses were, and I'm talking about the ones which were not very nice, right? Of course, there were so many which were good for HR. The others said that I spoke to my HR, but no action was taken. Never heard what happened to my concern. Few said that, listen, I don't trust any action will be taken, even if I report anything to HR. They may not take my side. There was a percentage of people who said, I wouldn't report being sexually harassed at work to HR. There was a percentage of population who said, I wouldn't report discrimination. Why? And that too to HR. If not HR, who can employees report to? I mean, I know there are multiple options, right? Now we have compliance, ombuds, but still a food for thought that why doesn't HR become the natural choice? And is this gap going to increase with more digital tools in play? And if it is so, what do we need to do to retain the trust? What do we need? So, if we can go to the next slide, please. My perspective on this is that while we continue to digitize our function, we cannot forget to have honest and meaningful conversation with our employees. Close the loop with them. Good, bad, ugly doesn't matter. Let them know. Uh, Next slide, please. And I personally believe that employee connect is the bread and butter for HR. We always need to remind ourselves about the same. No amount of technological advancement or any robust process can replace honest and regular conversation between HR and employees. So, friends, I'm going to end my presentation with two statements. If we go to the next slide, please. One is inspired by Avengers because I'm personally a big fan of Avengers, where the original quote says that Earth's mightiest heroes united to save the world. And I would tweak it by saying AI and humans, or HR, Earth's mightiest team, united to empower the future. And the second is actually a very famous dialogue from one of the Bollywood movies, which goes like, भगवान के भरोसे मत बैठो, क्या पता भगवान तुम्हारे भरोसे बैठा हो. What it means is, don't depend on God to make things happen for you. Maybe He's waiting for you to make it happen. And tweaking this for our topic, I would say, don't depend on AI to make things happen for you. Maybe AI is waiting for you to make it happen. So, with this, I am handing over back to Billy. Thank you so much for listening through my presentation today.
Thank you, Preet. That was a fantastic presentation, and I've always been one of those sort of AI people that sits on the fence, but I think you've helped convert me into an AI fan, and I can definitely see the value that it's brought to your organization. And I'm sure many other companies out there could also derive the same type of value from a brilliant forward-thinking tool. So, Preet, we've received some great questions from the audience. And the first question is, how do you alleviate fears of employees that feel that AI is here to take our jobs? And while you were talking, some additional comments came in, talking about the one word that describes AI. And I saw insecurity, job insecurity, and another person indicated Terminator. And I don't think that they're referring to Arnold Schwarzenegger. But yeah, I mean, there is a little bit of a negative association with AI. So how did you, Sabic as an organization, alleviate those fears from employees within your organization?
There's no rocket science to it. I think the key is communication. The key is reiterating the message, and also for people to learn that AI is here to make things better. The AI is not here to take away jobs, right? And again, there were examples that I have shared that we can't let things go just the AI way. It will create issues. The human intelligence can never be replaced by any of these AI tools. And we have to keep reminding ourselves. And I would say for employees, at least we as HR, we need to keep reiterating the fact that one, it is important for you to keep yourself upskilled, right? So keep learning. Don't look at AI as somebody who's going to come and take your job, but learn what AI does. Make that connection that AI and you go hand in hand and get the best outcome for the organization. more we communicate, the more comfortable employees will come to use AI in their day-to-day operations or day-to-day work life as well.
No, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it's another tool that can make us more efficient as an organization, more efficient as employees, and I guess it's also about reframing our thinking, and not feeling insecure about artificial intelligence, but rather using it as an ally to make us become better at what we do. I guess. Another great question: how does AI help in engaging employees?
So, I would say the engagement still has to be from us, right? So, AI can help us maybe get the baseline data, like I explained, the way we are using it for employee engagement. It can help you to prioritize certain things. What you may be thinking is the priority, maybe not the case what employees are thinking. So, AI can actually help you to get the pulse from the ground. And there are so many digital tools that you can use to engage employees, right? So, today, I am talking to the audience from all across the world. This is in a form, I would say it's form of artificial intelligence that we are using. So this is an engagement. But I would say use the tool one to understand the pulse of your organization, and then use AI to connect them on a common platform, whether it is about something that we are doing right now, could be something where you are engaging them on learning fun activities or whatever, and we keep doing it on Sabic platform as well, because we have been on and off work and we didn't want to lose the touch with our employees, so we have been going in person to digital to again in person. So I would say that's how we can, you know again, have this healthy marriage between AI, so that it can help us to get the best outcome for ourselves and our organization.
And I also found it interesting what what you said in your presentation about, sometimes people do find it a bit strange interacting with a chatbot or artificial intelligence, because it doesn't feel, natural and normal. But I guess the more we start doing it, the more natural it will become. Just from a
And I would like to add on to that, Billy. You said a very important point, and I would say even for us, not everybody talks to chatbot. Like you said, people are like, oh, I can't talk to somebody who's not human. But at least from an HR standpoint, what I can say is that those who are talking, right? And if we are identifying that there are issues, there are concerns, and we are taking action, we are closing the loop, that is like a word of mouth that generates trust among the others. And they feel,
exactly.
oh, if I talk, if he's spoken and there has been an action taken, maybe let me also give it a try. So don't let that try go waste, right? So that's why I'm saying that while AI is there, but it's not that AI will do the entire job, right? It can only give you some information. Then you have to act from your side to make it a full-fledged solution for the employees or for the organization.
Yeah, well said. Couldn't agree with you more. Okay, next one is: are there adequate regulations to use AI in respective countries? And I suppose it's a good question to you. Being part of a multinational organization where you will face regulations in India, in China. Just thinking about some of the countries that you certified in. So how did you overcome those challenges?
Uh, Rather than just talking about Sabic, I would say, are there adequate regulations to use AI? There have been certain countries where the regulations, laws has been strict. There are some which are still in the draft mode and will be applicable maybe from this year onwards or so. Uh, is it adequate? Very difficult to say.
Yeah.
you know I Because it also depends on how are we using that data or information. Are we just blindly trusting it as it comes, or are we really questioning the data which is coming? So the need of adequate regulations will be, the more we highlight that it is not, or it's biased, or it's discriminating, or it is doing something which ideally should not be done, the more awareness we create, the more regulations may come into the picture, right? But again, don't forget that we can never be 100% dependent on AI, and we cannot be 100% dependent on even the regulations, right? So the human intelligence piece will have to to stay here forever.
Oh, agreed, agreed. And I love the fact that you keep reiterating that, and it's not going to take away our jobs. It's there to help us. So it's good that you keep stressing that. Out of interest, I mean, I'm sure you didn't roll out all of your AI platforms at once throughout the world. Did you
Yeah.
pilot some of them in specific countries before taking it sort of on a worldwide scale?
Oh, absolutely. Everything, almost every tool that we have tried in HR, at least, we pilot with a smaller population or a specific geography. We look at, is it even adding value? Is it giving us something that would help us in our day-to-day jobs? Or is it helping us to take decisions at a micro and a macro level? And only if the results are promising is we go big bang, because Sabic being a multinational, we cannot roll out something at once for all the geographies, so we always have to do a pilot and then go big bang.
And I'm sure India was probably the pilot used on most occasions, being a tech hub of the world, right?
For a few, yes, but not for
Yeah.
all, for sure.
Okay. Sharing the love. Cool. Next one is, what is the role of AI in talent development? And I personally have come across some incredible sort of L&D platforms out there that are integrated with artificial intelligence in terms of being able to recommend, training and development programs to employees based on the competencies and skills that they have versus what they don't have. So how has that helped Sabic in the talent development area?
So, as I mentioned, that we are in an era where we have to keep updating ourselves, right? We have to keep learning. And what works for you, Billy, might not work for me, or vice versa, right? So AI kind of helps, like you said, there are so many tools available which kind of customize the learning for each of us in what fits our own way. Some of
Mm.
us like the videos, some of like going at training at our own pace, some like technical, some like behavioral. So AI has kind of helped us to customize the solutions per employee, right, or per individual, so that our attention is not diverted. We are able to complete the task that we started, and we don't get bored over a period of time, right? So it learns from what we feed in, and it helps us to be on top of what we should be learning at that point in time. Yeah.
And once I think a big worldwide HR trend at the moment is customizing that employee experience. And in my opinion, that can't be done without data or AI, especially if you're a large sized employer. I mean, how do you create a customized employee experience without something like artificial intelligence to support you in doing that? So once again, a very, very valid point that you've raised there. All right, we've got a sharp audience. There's great questions coming in here. The next one is, what went behind deciding to incorporate AI at Sabic, especially in HR? And the reason I like that question is because you would have had to motivate that to your global executives. It's costly. And how did you demonstrate the positive impact that artificial intelligence would have in the workplace?
uh, Different tools had different reasons behind deciding that for Sabic. Like I said, when we launched the employee engagement tool, the reason behind that was that we felt that the distance between us and the employees was increasing because of COVID. We were not seeing each other on an everyday basis. So that kind of led us to think that what do we need to do differently, right? So that we don't lose that pulse with our employees. And that's where Amber came into the picture. So is with L&D, right? We used to, in the past, while we also had the digital tools available, but many of our trainings were in person because it was very specific to our organization, very specific to our industry. But over a period of time, and COVID was the best teacher, I would say, for us to realize that
Mm.
we can't do that anymore. And like I said, some works for person A but would not work for person B. So that's when we thought of what else can we bring into our digital platforms, which kind of serves to the entire population, which fits their own lifestyle, their own way. So there have been different reasons for us to, bring in AI. Not that it was not there in the past, it was, but maybe over a period of time, we realized either we have to upskill the tools that we were using, or we had to bring in new to cater to our needs, which were arising over a period of time. Yeah.
Excellent. Cool. I think this will be the final question. I might ask you one after this. The next question is, in your opinion, what are the functions in HR that would be fully dependent on AI in the future, and what are the functions that would always rely on the human factor? That's a good question.
Okay. This is my personal opinion, and so what are the functions in HR which would be fully dependent on AI? None. You know, especially in HR, right? As I said, uh, we bring in a secret ingredient to the organization, right? I still say secret because nobody knows it. So um, there are, even if there are functions which are data oriented, right? It's the mundane task, it will still need humans to supervise it. We saw what happened when things were entirely left onto digital tools or AI, right? The results did hamper, and for companies to cope up with that took a very long time, right?
Hmm.
And we have learned from those mistakes in the past that we are not going to repeat it for future. So there are not going to be any functions. And I would also say that I also wouldn't recommend any functions which would just rely on human factor. And like I said, there has to be a balance between both, which will then bring the best outcome for all of us.
Nice. And the second part of the question is, and what are the functions that would always rely on the human factor? And I'm not the most intelligent human being going around, but I assume it's that all HR functions are reliant on the human touch, right?
Always. Yes, yes, yes. We cannot take away. Yeah, so we will be needed for all the facets of HR that you can think of. But it'll be a good combination. We'll have to drive between digital and HR, the human factor, basically. Yeah.
Great stuff. And then, yeah, just one final question from my side. When you obviously implemented artificial intelligence in the organization, I'm sure you received pushback from some employees. How did you overcome that?
As I said, the key was communication. The key was building trust over a period of time and not giving up too soon, right? So
Right.
these were the three things which we kept driving. And I would say we are still not 100% there, and we don't want to be, right? Because we want to have that good mix of people who feel both ways about, these tools or AI, and so because it'll help us keep improving over a period of time. So these were the three things that I would say, and communication still remains the topmost factor for any organization, and even for Sabic, to help people understand the value that it brings in on.
Excellent. We have asked a lot of questions to you, and you've answered them beautifully. So, thank you so much, Preet. And that does bring our Top Employers Connect webinar to an end. And obviously, we'd like to thank all of our delegates for attending. We really do appreciate your participation, and we hope that you enjoyed the session and derive good value from it. I know I certainly did. I don't know enough about AI, on the level that Preet does, but it was absolutely fascinating to listen to your presentation and also the way that you answered these questions. We are eager to know more about your overall impression and experience of today's session. So once this webinar has ended, you will be immediately directed to a survey, and please take 2 minutes to complete it so we can obviously keep improving, future sessions of this nature. And based on the content presented by Preet, I think we all have a wonderful source of inspiration to go out there and actually embrace AI for what it is, and see how we can incorporate this, this type of forward-thinking technology in our very own organizations. Because one certainly can't deny the value that it can bring in different areas of the business. So, Preet, I'd like to give you a big thanks of appreciation on behalf of us all. We really appreciate your time and your willingness to share with the wider business community.
Thank you so much, Billy, for the opportunity.
It's a pleasure as always. And then I would also like to thank our regional marketing manager, Sadiq Samodin, and Dr. Alyssa Hankachi, our regional certification manager for Asia Pacific, for helping me put this webinar together. Pleasure to work with you both as always. And our next APAC session is going to be taking place on the 25th of April. And this is more of a session for non-top employers, where you can find out a bit more about our global HR certification program and how to become recognized as one of the leading top employers in our beautiful region. I do believe the registration link is in the comments section right now. And if you aren't already, please do follow us on LinkedIn for other upcoming webinars that we're going to be hosting throughout the year, and interesting top employers content that we happen to share on a regular basis. So thanks so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure hosting you. Look after yourselves, and can't wait to speak to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.